on behalf of the government of Somalia, I would like to congratulate you and your Vice President on your election as the President and Vice Presidents of the 40th session of the Human Rights Council. We are confident that under your able guidance, this Council will have a fruitful session. My special thanks to the members of the Secretariat for facilitating this opportunity for me to address you on behalf of the Federal Republic of Somalia and her people. Permit me, in the first instance, to register my appreciation and that of my government and the people of Somalia for the support received from member states during the 73rd session of the United Nations General Assembly last year, which led to the election of Somalia as a substantive member of the Human Rights Council for the period 2019-2021. This is indeed the first time Somalia has been elected to the membership of the Council since her independence in 1960. My government views this election as an encouragement and support by the global human rights community towards institutionalized promotion and protection of human rights in Somalia and the rest of the world. I note that our election to the Council coincided with the 70th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. We have interpreted this coincidence as a call to reaffirm our commitment to the values and policies of the Declaration, which has delivered dividends of human rights promotion and protection to our people and millions of others throughout the world. Mr. President, together with our international partners, Somalia continues to engage in a structured peace and a state-building process as a strategy of returning our country to a functional post-conflict state. As a result, our country has made meaningful progress in restoring peace, rule of law, reforming the justice and security sectors, and thus facilitating an enabling environment for the promotion and protection of human rights. As enshrined in our provisional constitution, we've made significant progress in putting in place the legal and regulatory frameworks to protect the most vulnerable in our communities. Mr. President, we began by dedicating a fully fledged Ministry of Women and Human Rights Issues. In January, we also submitted our voluntary Universal Period Report, midterm review, which outlines the progress we've made in implementing UPR recommendations, particularly measures we are taking to strengthen the institutions that play a key role in the protection and promotion of human rights in Somalia. We have since begun the process of establishing the National Human Rights Commission and earmarked a National Human Rights Day in Somalia on the 27th of August each year. Under the Minister's roadmap, my President also signed into law the establishment of National Agency for People with Disabilities. In October 2018, Somalia signed the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities that was envisaged in the National Disability Roadmap, and during the July 2018 Global Disability Summit, Somalia also committed to ensuring that people with disabilities enjoy the rights just as other members of the community would. Plans are also underway to fast-track the formulation of the National Disability Act. As a country, we ratified and signed a number of international instruments, including International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination and Convention on the Rights of the Child. We have also made accession to a number of others, including the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights, Convention Against Torture and other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment of punishment. We have also formulated a national gender policy meant to mainstream gender issues in our governance system and safeguard the rights of women. My cabinet has also passed the sexual offense bill, which is before the Parliament for approval. One of the key pillars of the security and justice roadmap in our government system is our security sector reform effort, which we consider our best stabilization initiative. We have embarked on a comprehensive plan to completely reconfigure, retrain, re-equip, integrate the army forces, and delineate their respective duties so that they conform to international standards and best practices. We are duty-bound to make our forces aware of the need to uphold international human rights law and IHL principles, given the context in which they operate. Mr. President, we launched a modern law courts complex that also includes a correctional facility where the safety of judicial officials, prosecutors, suspects, prisoners, and witnesses are guaranteed. We have rehab centers for disengaged fighters, especially children and those who surrender. The impact of the reforms we continue to undertake, as well as government-led social mobilization, has resulted in engaged communities that are collectively outraged by incidents or violations. In the past, impunity was shielded by cultural practices. This is no longer the case. There can be no impunity for violations of human rights. After many years of anarchy and institutional collapse, Somalia now is on a positive trajectory. Therefore, impunity will not be tolerated. I would, however, like to underpin, to decisively protect and empower our most vulnerable, there needs to be support to wide region reforms we continue to undertake. We must also tackle the key drivers of human rights violations: unemployment, insecurity, and injustice. We also need to collectively work on delivery of social services, including provision of health and education. Focus on infrastructural development can provide the jobs of our unemployed youth, with spurring economic activities and aiding our private sector. These are the elements that can truly change the course of nations. Mr. President, I wish to restate that our reintegration into the regional and international human rights system is a case study on how countries emerging from conflict might restore the culture of respect for promotion and protection of human rights. As members of the Council, we will share our experience with member states, especially those emerging from conflict, on how to strike a balance between the need for upholding the promotion and protection of human rights on the one hand, and pursuing the goals of socio-economic development and combating terrorism on the other hand. Mr. President, I reaffirm that Somalia undertakes to work alongside other members of the international human rights community and system to further the work of the Human Rights Council by supporting and contributing to its efforts towards enhancing the effectiveness of its interventions at all levels. This will be done within the framework of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, related international and regional treaties, conventions and protocols, and international law, including humanitarian law. Mr. President, on behalf of my country, I'm grateful for this invitation and the support you and your colleagues have rendered to my country. We look forward to continue to working with you. Thank you very much.